Hey, my name is Clint Arthur. You've probably seen me on Fox Business Channel, The Today Show, CNN, 102 TV appearances. And what I'm going to share with you today is how you can have a seriously unfair competitive advantage. If you don't want an unfair competitive advantage, leave this webinar right now. This is what it's about. And I'm serious. A lot of people think it's unfair that I do what I do, but I don't care. I only care what my clients think, and my clients love me. Mike Tyson told me that everybody's got a plan until he punches them in the face. That's what your competitors are going to be feeling when you unleash this marketing that I'm talking about on this presentation on them. It's going to be like getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson. This message is something that I have shared multiple times. Events sponsored by the Entrepreneurship Club of Harvard Business School. Suzanne Summers was at this one. I've shared it at West Point with the leaders of our nation's future. Right next to me there, you see West Point graduate and Apollo astronaut Buzz Aldrin, who was another speaker at that event. I've shared it at the Harvard Club of Boston with billionaire Donald Trump's attorney of 42 years. Think about how smart you need to be the attorney and executive vice president of a billionaire's real estate corporation in New York City. George Ross was at that event when I shared this message. I talk about this at NASDAQ in New York City. I talk about this at Coca-Cola. I've spoken about it at Microsoft. When I had the privilege to share my message on the Today Show, Brooke Shields said it was scary. This is how you will decimate your competition. I shared this message at USC's Entrepreneurial Center, the Lloyd Grief Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. When my daughter was a junior at USC, that's her next to me in the photo, and after that presentation, the professor gave us each one of these hats with the USC entrepreneurship logo on it. And that is how you will decimate competition. You must be different than everybody else, and you must be perceived to be higher status than everybody else. How are you going to do that?
You learn all this complicated stuff as an MBA, but if you improve your communication skills, I will guarantee you that you'll earn 50% more money over your lifetime. And I said it's kind of beneath the business school to teach about speaking better, writing better, but that is what counts. And it isn't really, some elaborate formula about options or something. And so I tell every one of them, I said, unless you really think you're good at this now, go out and improve your speaking and communication skills.
If you're not already an amazing presenter, then you'll definitely get a lot out of this presentation. But the better speaker you are, the more you have to learn from me. I have built my 7-figure information marketing business by paying to speak. That's right, 7 figures. So I think that would put me in the top 5% of all the earners in the National Speakers Association.
No, probably in the top 1%.
I personally take every great speaking class I can get. If you are as dedicated to and understand how valuable it is to be a great speaker, then I know you're going to get a lot out of this presentation. Here's one of my clients who I've been training and working with for a little under 2 years. In the process of getting ready to help her with a presentation, this is what came up. What has been the transformation for you in terms of your ability to close clients into your wellness program, and has your pricing on your wellness program changed at all over the past few years since you began this adventure?
Well, I probably have almost doubled what I charge now in the past little over a year.
Doubled prices?
Yep. I probably closed twice as many as I did a year and a half ago.
Wow. So doubled closing rate. Wow. No wonder you're building a freaking building. Seriously, I mean, when you double the prices and double the closing rate, that's quadrupling revenues, yes?
Yes.
That is amazing. Quadrupled.
I went from a 6-figure practice to a 7-figure practice.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
freaking massive. And what I really want, and so what does that mean? What is the impact of quadrupling prices and quadrupling revenues? And I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm going to show you what the impact is, Dr. Deb, because I'm going to take the picture of you with the building. Dr. Deb. That's what I'm looking for. That's amazing. Okay? That's the impact of quadrupling revenues. That's what happens when you have the unfair advantage that I'm going to be talking about today. It's not just being a public speaker, but if you are a public speaker, that will improve the way family and friends look at you. That will help the way clients look at you. Your industry positioning will be better just by being a public speaker. But I'm not talking about public speaking. I'm talking about what I call VIP speaking. What is VIP speaking? It is speaking in very important places. It is speaking with very important people. And it is telling very important parables. That's VIP speaking. Very important places include the NASDAQ market site or the Harvard Club of Boston. Those are some VIP places to speak. Some VIP people to speak with include the one and only Suzanne Summers. Here is one of my clients, Dr. Lali Shaban, presenting with Suzanne Summers. And this is a high status VIP speaker photo that I provide to many of the people who work with me as a VIP speaking mentor. Now, what about the parables? Very important parables. This is a guy who spoke in very important parables. You think this was the Last Supper. This was, in my opinion, a recruiting dinner for 12 of his most important downline word-of-mouth marketers. And he used parables, which are earthly stories with a heavenly meaning, so that his disciples would comprehend the teachings, but unbelievers would be without comprehension. Those interested in understanding the truth of his message understand. Those not interested remain without understanding. You must repel as well as attract, so you're not wasting time. Now, my experience with storytelling began the year before this photo was taken. This is Frank McCourt, my creative writing teacher at Stuyvesant High School for 2 years. That was our classroom. This photo was taken in 1983. I studied with him in 82 and 83. And right before that, I made up my mind that I was going to go to the best business school in the world. I thought, hey, maybe if I could graduate from the greatest business school in the world, the Wharton Business School, then maybe my parents would stop arguing so much. If I could become somebody special, maybe the constant arguing would stop. And sure enough, I graduated from Wharton Business School with a 4.0 GPA in my entrepreneurship major and went home to get the attaboys. And what happened? They get into the hugest argument of all time. My dad storms out of the room, slams the front door, leaves the building. And I turned to my mom and I said, you know, Mom, the way he resents you all these years, have you been cheating on Dad? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what kind of smart aleck kid asks his mom a question like that? And then I'm thinking, why ain't she answering the question? Then she says, he's not your real father. Your real father was a doctor at the fertility clinic we went to for 6 years trying to have you, and you look just like him. Say what? Not only didn't I know who I was anymore, I sure as heck didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up anymore. So I call up the investment bank on the 87th floor of number 1 World Trade Center, and I said to the vice president, sir, thank you so much for the offer, but I've decided I don't want to be an investment banker anymore. And what did I do? Naturally, I moved out to Hollywood. Started going on auditions, writing screenplays for 13 years. Takes us all the way to December 31st, 1999. Were you at an ATM getting Y2K cash? That was me behind the wheel of yellow cab number 6087. In the back seat of my cab that night were two MBA interns at Goldman Sachs. I'm listening to their conversation. Hey, did you hear about Mr. Carrera? They made him the last partner right before the Goldman IPO and he cashed out $1 gazillion. I said, hey, are you guys talking about Chris Carrera? How do you know Mr. Carrera? Ha! Chris Carrera was a pledge in my fraternity. When I was a pledge master, I used to make those little punks dance around the living room of our house with their tighty whities on top of their head. And now this guy cashed out $1 gazillion. The reason why I drove a taxi in LA and could not break through in Hollywood is because I did not know the most important thing in business. They don't teach it at Wharton, but everybody in Hollywood knows. There are a million actors who are as good as Tom Cruise or Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they don't get the money that those guys get because the most important thing in business is who you are. It's way more important than what you do or sell, especially if you are selling a product or service that has equal competition in the marketplace or similar products to what you do in the marketplace. Who you are is everything. This is a guy who knows about that, and it's fascinating. There's a lot of people who know who he is. The other night I was at a speech at the Harvard Club in New York City. I said, anybody know Uncle G? Nobody knew who he was. If you are one of his customers or prospects, you know who he is, and you think that he's somebody big. And that's what I'm talking about with VIP speaking. He's a VIP speaker. He's created that perception of being a VIP speaker. And what I call the Cardone conundrum, Grant Cardone says that your biggest problem as an entrepreneur is that nobody knows who you are. That's the Cardone conundrum. He talks about it every time. And your job, if you want unfair competitive advantage, is to make them think that you are somebody special. Now, how do you do that? A lot of it is done with videos. There's a lot of gurus out there that say, oh, just go on Amazon, get yourself a lighting kit, and you can set up a little studio in your home or in your office. I've done it. And if your videos don't look professional, you are not going to get high dollar clients. You're just not. That was my first lighting kit. Then my wife, she saw that I was struggling to get a professional looking video product. She bought me a professional lighting kit, $1,000 kit. I couldn't do anything with that. Guys, what they don't tell you, what the gurus don't tell you, is that they're not making their own little videos and they're not lighting them themselves and shooting them themselves. They're using professional videographers. They are oftentimes professional filmmakers themselves, like Andy Jenkins, NYU Film School grad, or all these gurus listed here. They're working with this guy and they're paying him at least $10,000 to start. And when I started to realize that, that's when I got smart. And I said to my wife, sweetie, you've worked with the biggest guys. That's my baby doll right there, Allie. She's worked with J.J. Abrams. She's worked with Jim Cameron on The Abyss, T2, Aliens of the Deep. She's worked with George Lucas on Dracula, T2, The Last Action Hero, The Shadow, Mortal Kombat. I said, baby, why don't you shoot my marketing videos for me? And a lot of the imagery you've seen in this presentation has been pulled out of those videos. Perhaps you've seen some of my speeches at NASDAQ, the Harvard Club in Boston, or Coca-Cola, or Microsoft, where my wife has produced the videos because she's been producing film and TV in Hollywood at the highest levels for decades. You have to have videos and photos. And when you do, then you can start saying things like this when you're having conversations with prospects on the phone. Did you see our CEO on TV? Or did you see his Harvard speech? Or his speech at NASDAQ? Or the New York City Bar Association? When you're asking questions like that, it sets a frame around the conversation. It's like getting punched in the nose by Mike Tyson. It makes people sit up, take notice, and buy. This is one of my clients, Mike Martinez, speaking at our event at the Harvard Faculty Club. Look how much weight he's lost in just a year since he began working with us.
And that's how you grow personally as well as professionally. You have to be uncomfortable because if we're just doing the same status quo, guess what? We're not growing. And that's one of the things I really kind of take from that. And as I tell a lot of people, I retire, maybe they retire from Honda, whatnot, they're part of the Honda family. When they come with us, they're part of the pension group family. Well, you're part of Clint and Allie's family now, under their wing. As far as, personally, there's been a lot of changes, a lot of growth, from me. Business-wise, there's been huge growth. And, probably in the first quarter of this year, I've already done more in production in one quarter than I did all last year.
That's a year of working with us, coming to NASDAQ, coming to Harvard. Here's a video from a webinar that I do. I do monthly trainings with my mentees who are part of my mentorship program for VIP speaking. Has our work together been helping you to close new business?
I had a client I hadn't worked with in about 10 to 12 years. He saw the Harvard video, and he wanted to meet. After the Harvard video, it's a $95,000 deal. Amazing what that video will do for you.
Kevin, how has this been working for you?
It's been a whirlwind since I met you this March. This year I doubled revenues and doubled profits.
It's an unfair competitive advantage.
I'm here at Harvard, Clint's Harvard event, and I just closed a $60,000 deal, all due to me mentioning Harvard in our closing. Thank you very much.
It's an unfair competitive advantage. It's like getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson. Do you want something like that? Here's Gay Montgomery. She's a graduate of Yale Law School, Princeton University. She was a lawyer at Altria, vice president and head of the law department for global compliance at Altria. That's Philip Morris Cigarettes. How smart do you have to be VP of the law department for compliance at Altria?
My name is Gay Montgomery, and I am speaking from the Harvard Club of Boston. I first met Clint and his lovely wife, Allie, a week ago, and his unique, creative approach to authority marketing. Frankly, as a lawyer, I was a little suspicious. The promises kind of made me go, really, really? But I was fully persuaded by the time I left that meeting, and now, as I am finishing up 3 days at the Harvard Club of Boston, they're the real deal. They have created such a unique community of business leaders who somehow coalesce into a supportive, encouraging, non-competitive group like none I have ever seen before. I came into this thinking, really, can this be real? It's real. I highly recommend Clint Arthur's programs.
Hey, the lawyer from Philip Morris is buying my unfair competitive advantage.
Result of attending Clint Arthur's event, we have quadrupled our sales. In fact, in this quarter, 2017, we've already done more business this year than we did all of last year. So if you're wanting to take your business to the next level, or your celebrity status to the next level, you gotta get with Clint Arthur.
That's the guy who invented the question, did you see our CEO speak at Harvard? And that is an unfair competitive advantage. Tamisa Leiden is a realtor. Deb Matthew, even though I'm a doctor, the picture of the Jumbotron got the most attention of anything I've ever done. Here's Tamisa, the realtor, and here comes Dr. Deb on the Jumbotron, the most attention of anything I've ever done. When you're a VIP speaker in one of my mentorship programs, it is a massive, unfair competitive advantage.
I did the math and sort of NASDAQ altogether. It'd be a total about $925,000 of new revenue just from speaking to NASDAQ.
And this was a follow-up text message that I got from him, $360,000 deal, putting him well over $1.2 million in new revenues just from 1 year of having this unfair competitive advantage.
Okay, this is my probably fourth or fifth event with Clint and Allie. This is probably one of the best events that I've taken. And you know, each time that I come to these events, I learn something more. When I thought maybe, well, I don't need to take any more seminars from Clint. There's nothing else for me to learn. But every goddamn time he teaches me new things Thank you, Clint.
Hey, I am one of the sharpest, most aggressive, cutting-edge entrepreneurs right now. Learning from me, being mentored by me is an unfair competitive advantage.
I hired Clint to get me to Harvard, and he did, and it like delivered me like a tenfold return on the money that I spent. Because here's the thing: you think you know what you know, okay? And I'm an alpha guy, right? I have my own decisions made, and I do it my way. But the truth is, you don't know what you don't know. And in this business, Clint Arthur, for PR, he knows a lot more than I do. And dude, he's opened up the world. And it's just, I'm here at NASDAQ. I just spoke at NASDAQ. I was on the Jumbotron. Guess who made that happen? Clint Arthur. That's who you need to be following, Clint Arthur.
If you want NASDAQ or Harvard and the unfair advantage that those names give you for your career.
Hey, this is Gary Typos coming to you from Silicon Valley, California, and I'll just say I had my best month ever in October, and one of the main reasons why was because of Clint Arthur's NASDAQ event. Before the event, I sent my prospects all sorts of information that I was going to New York, I was going to speak at the NASDAQ. So I'll tell you, if you're thinking, just even thinking about doing Clint's NASDAQ event, stop thinking, just do it, because I'll tell you, it gets results. And so thank you, Clint. Thank you, Ali. It was a fantastic event. I had a blast, great memories, and it put money in my pocket. So thanks for the wonderful record-breaking month for the past 15 years. The best month ever. Thank you.
Unfair competitive advantage. I asked Snoop, what's the most important thing you ever learned? And he said, life's too short to smoke cheap weed. Now, I have been sober for 5 years, but when I was drinking and smoking, I'll tell you what, I spent money on getting the best, and what I have to offer you, the unfair competitive advantage, is not cheap weed. It is the kind buds of marketing. It is the best, and it's not cheap, but life is much too short to smoke cheap weed. I offer you a 5-minute solution to all of your problems in business. All you got to do is show up at one of my live implementation events and talk for 5 minutes. We're going to prepare you in advance, and you're going to be ready, and you're going to be trained, but really all you got to do is talk for 5 minutes in the right place. And what do? You get a done for you 3-camera HD professional video and photos with all rights to use them. Man, there's a lot of people who talk a big game and never deliver. I guarantee you'll be using the assets within 30 days of arriving. You'll have a year membership in my monthly VIP speaker mastermind and training webinars. That is where I will be personally mentoring you and your new VIP speaking friends into how to become 7-figure unfair competitive advantage users. And you'll get instant and forever bragging rights and results. Instant and forever. Tell me when you think an image like this would stop being useful for you. When would that happen? How long will that image be valuable to you? It'll be valuable forever. And as soon as you get enrolled, people are going to say, what's going on with you? You seem different. Oh yeah, I'm working with a speaking coach and I'm going to be speaking at NASDAQ. Now, we have NASDAQ events coming up February, April, October, December, as you see on the screen. The first date of each event is a live VIP speaker training class. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And the second day is the implementation, where you're going to have your imagery on the Jumbotron. You're going to go inside and speak in the boardroom. You're going to network with high net worth clients of mine. You'll get the full contact information of everybody, VIP speaker training, and monthly live coaching mastermind webinars. I have a new event coming up. It's at the New York City Bar Association. I've been doing Harvard and NASDAQ now for several years. This is the first time we're going to be doing the New York City Bar Association. It's going to be happening on April 30th. Harvard and NASDAQ are each 10 grand. Any kind of mentorship with me is $10,000 and includes one live VIP speaking event. New York City Bar Association will be the same. That's the kind of imagery you're going to be getting to speak at the New York City Bar and get all of the assets that I have been talking about, including the VIP speaker training on April 28th. What's involved in the VIP speaker training? How to answer the question that's in everyone's head as soon as they meet you, and you've got to answer that question. 2 words you must say every time if you want to be somebody in the eyes of customers and prospects instead of nobody. How to create instant credibility. How to win awards. How to become a best-selling author. Should you use credentials like MD, JD, MBA or not? How often should you be a speaker? Does it matter where you speak? How to get prestige clients. 1 word that creates instant superiority and power positioning. How to instantly fix 50% of your weakness as a speaker. No matter how great you are, I can make you 50% better and bigger and badder and more unfair if you just do this one thing. 4 simple tools you should use every single time you speak. Hollywood's biggest success secret. I learned it the hard way, and I've got it for you, including a fun game you can play every day to become a great speaker. Power words you must use if you want to make a lot of money when you speak. The single most important thing you must have as a speaker. You got to have that one thing. If you don't have that, you're going to suck. And I'm going to teach you 4 simple ways to get that most important thing that you must have if you want to not suck as a speaker. 1 item of clothing you must always wear anytime you speak. The simplest, most underrated, and misunderstood business success tool. How to create a suit of armor for your business success. How much you need to rehearse. How exactly you should rehearse. And the biggest rehearsal mistake to avoid. How you can use your face to make more money. Are your teeth costing you money, and how you can fix that in 1 hour? Do you have weak hands? How you can correct your weak hands and have power hands? Can you make money singing, even if you're a lousy singer? That's right. All of this is part of the 1-day VIP speaker training, including the single most advanced speaking secret that I've stolen from one of my many, many mentors. Guys, I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of my life gaining the education that I have from the best speaking mentors in the world. And that advanced speaking secret that I stole from one of my mentors revolutionizes everything. And when you add that with the next secret trick that I will teach you how to do, it will completely take the sales out of your sales pitch and enable you to avoid the biggest, dumbest mistake that most speakers make with their marketing. I'll teach you what's in a great testimonial, how to get celebrity testimonials, and how to get selfies with celebrities. You see how I use them and make a lot of money with them. What kind of videos really work to make you more money? What must be in a sizzle reel? And the most fun, most powerful marketing tool on earth. That's in the 1-day speaker training. That's included with your mentorship. If you join either the NASDAQ mentorship program or the Harvard Club of Boston mentorship program or the New York City Bar Association program, you get February 10th, April 28th, October 6th, December 1. You can come to any or all of them. If this is of interest to you, please go to statusfactory.com and fill out the application for mentorship. I will review it. And if I think you look like you have potential or you are a good fit, I will get on the phone with you and I will enroll you. It's not an informational call. I've told you what it costs to be mentored by me. It is an investment that will pay dividends for you for the rest of your life. If you want it and you set up a call with me, expect to enroll on the call. Otherwise, you're wasting both of our time and I won't let you be mentored. I'm only interested in talking to people who are ready to enroll. By the end of the call, either I will invite you to enroll or I won't. And if I do invite you, You must be ready to enroll. That's going to wrap it up for this webinar. I'll look forward to seeing you on the main stage at NASDAQ, at the Harvard Club in Boston, or at the New York City Bar. And I'm looking forward to giving you the unfair advantage.